start with the question, what does home mean to you?
So just, for me, it's a place, just not like a physical building, physical. It could be apartment, flat, or just anyway. It's a place where I live, where I feel comfortable, feel safe, and just I like to be back to this place, just where I live now. Yeah, it's briefly to say.
Good. Comfortable, safe. Yes. How about you?
Yeah.
Are you at home now?
Yes, I'm at home.
Nice. Good. How about you guys?
Yes, but not in my flat. I just see that just to say to specify, just not in my flat, because my flat is empty. That's but I live in another flat with my boyfriend, and so just I'm happy to live with him. So I think that it's my home where I live now.
Right. Do you consider both places home, or is one place more home than the other?
I maybe just to be clear. So just if I will talk about my flat, I would say yes, my flat, flat. But home, just it's better to say about the place where I live now. So it's my
Okay.
home.
Okay, nice. Thank you. How about you guys? Are you all at home at the moment?
Yes. Yes,
Yes. What is home to you, Pipe?
I think home is I think so about the home is comfortable and safe. Yes, and I think they have someone who wait you to come back. Yeah, and I think it's you should have some people we call family. Yes, if we don't have a, if we don't have someone who waiting you to come back. Yeah, I think somebody is live alone. Yeah, but I think for me is I want someone who let me come back and it have a family. Yeah.
Yes, right. Often people are part of what we think of as home. Someone or some people, family.
As for me, I can say that I have many homes. First of all, my home is this is a home of my parents, and I like this home very much. Of course, this is my good memories from my childhood, my good friends from my classmates, and first my sympathies and all my hobbies. But now I live in home in Moscow with my family, with my husband and my baby. And sometimes this is a home. This is a political place where we stand for our ideas and we try to defend our views and to support each other. So as my baby is in the age when she became adolescent, sometimes this is a really political place for me, but it's also my home.
A political place, you say?
Yes.
Right. Okay, interesting. Okay, I think we're going to come back and we will talk more about these different concepts of home. But just to get first ideas, Andreas, what?
Yeah, for me, it's a place I yearn to be or to get when I'm not at home. I think if you're not at home or if you're traveling, it's much easier to find out where your home is and where your heart beats. And for me, it's linked to emotions and experiences I I have in memory connected with this place, and also with people and language and dialect. Because if you're at home, I think you want to have the feeling to belong to this place and to the people who live there. You're not an outstanding person. You're among them, and so also language may play a role in this. Yes, and I have to know how to behave, and so that it's not exhausting for me to live there. So I don't have to think about my next step or behavior, or can I ask this, or yes, this in
Yes,
general
be
means
comfortable.
home.
We have it.
Yes.
Sometimes we tell people to make themselves at home, which really means if somebody comes to your house and you want them to feel comfortable, feel like you say relaxed and not worried about what they're doing, make yourselves at home. But it's an interesting point for me. Obviously, I don't live in my home country or homeland. I often call Thailand a second home of mine. When I go out and about during the day and I come back home. This is my home, but I also have a home back where I come from, I guess. But some people move around, they move house a lot, so they move to different houses, but they always seem to have a home. How can that be? How does a house differ from a home? Next question.
I think a house is just a place to live, and you try to make it comfortable wherever you live, I think. But for example, if you go to another town to study or to make a training or so, you have to live there, have a house, but probably in the first time you will say I experienced when I studied in another town. I said this weekend I'm going home. This was the place where all my stuff was. My parents lived and my siblings. But nevertheless, I want to make my flat comfortable for me and to try to make it as much home as possible.
And did it begin to feel more like home as you lived there for a longer period of time? Perhaps you got to know people there, or not really?
Yes, the longer I lived there, the more it was the feeling of home. That my center or my everything orbits around one point, I would say. And the longer I lived there, the more this feeling became obvious to me. Yes.
Great, thank you. Who else has this experience of maybe being in a house and a house becoming a home, or is it
So just talking about to answer, house is a physical object. So just it's only an object that you could be in a house. You can be just home is more abstract, and you can say home that you say that home is here, the house, the flat, and just the place, or just a boat, and it doesn't matter. So just it's more abstract word, and you can understand that home is so what is it close to you, what is it closest and it's really just we understand that it's a building. So just I was thinking about just Larissa mentioned parents, and I would say, for example, just I go to home my mom, not just like my home. I go home to my mom. Or I go to my mom, or just say like to visit my mom. So just I go to home to my mom. But home is only where I live now. Just yeah, I'm connected with this place, and I live not really important that you live with whom you love, and just who you love, and just you feel comfortable and together happy. And so of course it's the happiest place also. That's about for me.
What about then if people live alone? Can that be their home?
They consider
Mentioned this.
it also the place, and that my son is not connected with the particular place. He told me that it doesn't matter, just where he live now. Just him is the place where he live now. Just now is St. Petersburg. There is my home.
It's
And
the
he's
city then.
living there on the city. Yeah, St. Petersburg is my home. There is the home where I live now. Just actually.
Okay, great. Can I get some input from you two, Larissa and Pipe?
I totally agree with Natasha. As we speak about house, I think that we speak about building, but as we speak about home, this is something very, very special. This is emotions. This is connections with your friends. This is your family. This is something very important for you, and something personal, very personal.
Right. Have you ever moved house? And if you move house immediately, does that then become your home? Does it take a while for it to feel like home?
As for me, when I come back to my parental house, I remember myself as a small girl again, and I see the books at my bookshelves, and I remember myself in my 17th and in many in up teens. What was my ideas, what was my dreams, and I became as a schoolgirl again, and I know that my parents they wanted not wanted they want now about me that I be the small girl again. It's absolutely independently that I'm 42 now.
Yes, right. We're always parents. Our parents will always be our parents. How about you, Pipe? I know you live in Bangkok, but sometimes you talk about going home. So,
Yes.
where is
Yes,
your home?
I think in Thailand many people is not work at the hometown. They go to another province to work. Yeah, when I work uh, in Bangkok, there's many people when you finish the work, you talk, hey, I come back, I come back to home. But I think the feeling is not same when you have a long period holiday. If you have a long period, I think the feeling is a really home. When you come back, when the festival, the long term to holiday, when you come back, but you when you come back in the evening after work, I think sometimes maybe some people is a meaning just a house. You come back to house to sleep, to relax, but you don't have a relationship or feeling to take a rest. But if you have a long period to come back to home, to take some people take you can find the parents, own friend, and you remember about the when you was young. Yes, I think it's the meaning of the home for me.
Okay, great, fantastic, guys. Yeah, I guess the next question. Why is home so important?
Just really easy question side, and from another side, it's on the one hand, it's easy. On the other hand, it's really difficult. Because of course it's important, but that's only yes, it's not enough. To this question, why is it important? And because you think that home, it's not the place and just like physical place where you live. It's also people. I mentioned family that who you with, and friends maybe, and who could support, who could come to you and say warm words. And so just that's why it's so important to feel that you are not alone. It's, I think, us for people, it's very important not to be alone. We are for the love. Why? Just we're looking for the love, not just to be in love. Just we are really for us. We have. We should speak. It's social life. I think that we are looking for people anyway. So we are looking for the partner, for the wife, and for friends, and to communicate and to be not alone. So that I think important that it's because the people make us happy. Sometimes happy, sometimes not. It's really impossible for us to live alone, isolated. I mean, really difficult without communicated, socializing, and support. That's important.
Okay, thank you. Yes, some great points. Who would like to add to that?
I think it's important because it's the place you get your energy from, or you can recharge in a natural way. No matter if it's a first home or a second home, I think it has to be a place that feels like home, and where you can, get contact, conversation, energy, and it's very much, as Natalia said, linked to people, to other people, in my opinion. It's not only a place, even if you know it very, very well. The real value comes from people and from connection you are familiar with.
Yes.
I want to add that why is home is so important. I agree with Natasha and Andres, and I want to add that our home, this is a place, this is a safe haven, first of all, and this is the beginning of the beginnings. And if we live in secure atmosphere, we can think about our future, we can make our plans for our future, and we can achieve our goals. But sometimes we live in difficult life and in stressful atmosphere, and sometimes we need in people who can accept us as ourselves, and so it is very important when we come back homes in bad mood or with full of bad emotions, and we have to deal our internal process with our families to be ready for new days and to be ready to overwhelm our difficulties in our life. I think so.
Thank you, Larissa. Yes, I like it.
Yes, I think I agree to all of you, but I think yes, yeah, I think the home is so important because some when you work all the day, you want to take a rest your body. Yeah, if you have a complete the home, the home can rest your feeling. Yes, I think somebody is have a body to try. The feeling is try same. Yes, we should have some place to to take a rest for all. Yes.
Yes, it's interesting. I was just thinking then about people like nomads, people who travel about a lot, who seem to keep moving. Do they have a home? Now, in modern society, people talk a lot about digital nomads, but also in
I
many
would
traditions, there are nomadic people who move from place to place.
I would like to add about moving, just to provide an example of my son. He lives alone in St. Petersburg. He has a flat. Just he rents flat, and what I see that he has friends, and he is so friendly. He likes to socialize, and just even of course he just live alone. He lives alone, but anyway, he on the weekend he prefers to go out, to go clubbing, to go socializing, just to go, I know, playing mafia with his friends, and so he needs this socializing. He tries to find every time this act of socializing. So he needs his friends, and he's also open, and he likes to invite his friends from Moscow to St. Petersburg to at the weekend just to live with him. So anyway, he's looking for socializing for people, and yeah, he lives alone, but anyway, he's looking for people to be more happy, and
Yes,
that's
comes
about
back to
people.
other
That's
people.
yeah. Because sometimes when I'm traveling, of course, I like to observe, to look around, to see places, new architecture, buildings, and so on. But anyway, I like to talk to people, to local people, to ask them questions, and that's why I love them because they speak English very well, and also Germany, they speak English very well. So you can ask questions, and they see how people are so friendly. They are ready to talk to you, just not only to answer to your question where to go and how to get there. They just could give you advice and ask you where from. And so that's kind of a small talk. So for me, it's also, and to be honest, sometimes when in cafe, I could listen to other people, local people, how they communicate, what they're talking about. It's like a spy. I'm just really interested about their architecture, also about the culture of other people. So just when I'm traveling, just also looking for socializing.
Yes, right. Maybe so. I guess on a larger scale, this planet that we live on is our home as well.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you the next question: where is your home? It's a good
Country.
question for me, actually. Where is your home?
Yeah, where is your home? It's really interesting how you can answer to this question. Where is your home?
Yeah, for me, it's like I said, sometimes I feel like I have two homes. I live here in Thailand, and I've lived here for many years now. So it is definitely a home for me. And I live here with my family, with people I love. But I also have my family as well back in the UK. But even there, my parents live in France now. So I guess the home, there is a family home there. There is the family home that we grew up in, which is in northern England. But then their family home was in Scotland as well, so we also feel like Scotland is a home. It's kind of my homeland, but also in the place that I grew up in Northern England, in Cheshire, that is also feels like my home. But yeah, it's a good question. So let me ask you guys, where is your home? Has it always been there?
Now my home is in Moscow. So as my baby here, my husband here, the schools, my baby's schools near my home. So this is the place for living for me now, and up to the end of her school years, I think that this is our home.
Has Moscow always been your home?
Moscow is a beautiful city, a very interesting city, and very active. And of course, I'm interested in this city not only because I'm a mother, but also because it's a high level of cultural life, and there are a lot of different scientists and artists and setters here. And I want to develop different skills in my baby to adapt her for future life. And I think that Moscow, this is the best place for living now and for your own development.
Great. That's so nice. But did you move to Moscow from your childhood home? Was that somewhere else in Russia?
Yes, I moved from a small city. My home, my parental house is far from Moscow, 600 kilometers. But my granny and granddad, they from maternal line, they lived in Moscow. So in my childhood years, I visited every year in summer on vacation. I visited Moscow and I was informed what is it. And I dreamed that one day I will move for this big city and I will live there.
Yes, and of course it's your nation's capital. I think like in Bangkok, so many younger people who live and work in Bangkok. And it's the same in the UK. I have 3 brothers and they all now live in London, which I'm sure they call their home, even though none of us were born in London. Everybody moved there at one point. But yeah, maybe it's the center of your nation, so it's a kind of a cultural home as well. How do you feel about that, Andreas, or someone else?
I would like to add about migration, because yes, when you migrate in their same city, or I mean just country, or as Russian speaking city, it's easier because you can continue to communicate. You don't need to learn new, and so just as I said before, that we are looking for people to communicate and more friends, and so not to feel alone and just to be alone. And when you move to another country, and for example to China, for example, for me to start a new language, and it's a long process. It's not about 2 weeks or one. It's about more than 1 year. And so of course you will try to speed up this process, but it's impossible to learn faster, actually, when just because it's a really completely different language, from Russian, or maybe just for easier to study a language like Italian or German, and just because English is easier than to learn Japanese or Chinese. So I think that's it. It depends. So where do you move? Just move into the same culture, to the same language area. It's easier. So you can continue to communicate and to find new friends. And that's what I wanted to add.
Okay. Yes, I can relate to that. I know when I came to a completely new country, it helped that I knew people here already, that I could have that connection with. You know, long-term, lifelong friends of mine already lived here. But yes, how about you? Are you two guys? Andreas, where is your home?
Yeah, it also depends on how much weight you give to your roots, where you think your roots are. As you mentioned, your family came from, you grew up there, but the family came from another place. And
Yes.
in my case, my family had lived a long time in Munich, and grandparents and grandparents came from this area. But we moved to another town when even before I was born. I was born here in Munich, but my parents already lived in another place due to their jobs, but they brought the local dialect from Munich to the other place where I grew up, and within our family we spoke this local dialect from here, but it was a strange dialect for the place where I grew up, so we only talked within the family, and outside we talked in the neutral German.
The high German.
The high German.
Cold.
But I always longed to go back to Munich because I felt my roots are here. And then
Yeah.
I came back 20 years ago, and then I realized I don't know. I nearly don't know anybody here because my grandparents don't live. They passed away already a long time ago, and I had to start from scratch here. And I also had to realize that the local dialect was spoken only from a minority of people, because in a million people city, most people came from another place in Germany, so they also speak the High German. So it's a bit difficult, but to make it short, I think meanwhile my center of life is here in Munich, and I don't know another place, a similar place, because where I grew up, nearly all people moved away and the city changed, and so I think it's here.
Great. Yes, thank you.
I remember a funny story, I'm sorry for the interruption, about one of my classmates from the university. He immigrates to Germany 10 years ago, and he still doesn't know Deutsch language. He works as a chief of surgery department, and his area of interest is very specific place of our body. I don't know how to translate it. This is S surgery. He removed hemorrhoids and so on. So as this is specific place, he doesn't know Deutsch. He has a lot of medical assistants who translates for him all medical problems of his patients, and he lives many years there without any problems, without language, and without problems in communications. When we met with him, he said that people become more friendly when they were informed that I am a doctor, that I am a surgeon. and in a very specific place.
But how he doesn't speak German. But how does he communicate with?
He communicates in Russian, so as there are a lot of Russian people in Germany, and his medical assistant helps him to do his job every day. But for surgeon, it's not. He works with hands.
Sure.
He don't speak with patients.
As long as he can communicate with his assistants. Yeah, it's interesting. That reminded me a lot of times when you go to one country, and if there are a group of people from another country, they often will stick together, these expats groups, or groups of various nations or races. Unless you make a real effort to go out and integrate with the local population, it's quite easy to do that. I certainly can relate to that as well, although I do make an effort. What do you think, Pipe? You haven't spoken for a while. Could you ever live in another country and call it home, do you think? I'm sorry, I don't.
You're muted.
Maybe mute.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't have experience about a home at the up country or another country. Yes, I don't have. But for me, yes, I just a young people who came from my hometown to go to the big city. But for me, I think I'm an introvert people. I am an introvert
Right.
for me. Yes, I think for me in the first, I think yes, I can speak Thai. Everybody in Bangkok speak Thai. Yes, I can communicate with many people. But for me, in Bangkok is so busy. Many people is leave for work. Yes. For me, I don't like this feeling. Yes,
Does
I
it
don't.
not? Does it feel like home to you, Bangkok?
Yes, for me, Bangkok is not like home. I live for the work, for the money. Yes, and for me, many times in the weekend, I want to come back to my hometown to meet my family. Yes, yes. I'm not sure the Bangkok is home for me. I think it's just a house. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Would
Very
anyone else
interesting
like?
paper.
Yeah.
Pipe has very interesting paper on his walls. I love London, I can see.
Yes. a great
Yes.
wallpaper.
I love London.
Yes. Okay, let me come to the next question then, which
Metaphor.
have you ever felt homesick? Sometimes people talk about being homesick and missing home. Have you ever felt homesick?
Yes. I think I homesick. For me, yes, I have because
Now?
yeah, yes, because it's a long time. Thailand have a COVID-19 situation, and we have a lockdown policy. We don't go uh, up. We don't go back to the when you live in Bangkok, you cannot go to another district. If you go to
Right.
another district, you should stay quarantine 14 days. It's so hard when you come back to home. Yes, I think I have, but now it's okay. I can come back. Yes, but
Yes,
but
because
but
last week I think you were home. Were you at
yes,
home last
right.
week?
Yes. After they open this policy, yes, I come back immediately.
Yes, right. I know what you mean. I must admit, I have been feeling quite homesick over the last year at times because of the COVID situation. Yeah, it's true. I would like to go back and see, I guess, family and friends who form part of my idea of home. Even though this is a home for me, I can still miss my home. How about any of you three? Have you ever been homesick before?
And the
I can't hear Natasha. I think
It's
problems with connection.
Yes, it's breaking up. Perhaps we can come back to you, Natasha.
I haven't seen her for more than 4.
Unfortunately, the same.
It's the same. Can we come back to you? We can't hear you very well at the moment, Natalia, but we'll come back. Maybe it will improve. Anybody else in the meantime?
Yes, I have felt homesick when I stayed in Africa, in Ghana, for a few months,
Right.
and it was a great time in hindsight, but demands were high because it was a project where we had to achieve, we had to make success, or we had also the demands to ourselves, and everything is, of course, was very, very different and challenging for me. And so I think I missed this place to recharge, to get energy, and also my girlfriend, we had been together for it was quite fresh, the connection.
Right.
So yeah,
It must put a
as
lot
I
of
said, a great time, but I missed the place to relax and to feel safe.
Yes, right. I know it's interesting. When I went to university, talking about going back to our roots, I went back to Scotland from England. I thought this will rediscover my roots. And actually, I went to Edinburgh, but I found myself certainly doing it at the beginning, feeling quite homesick at times, being away. I guess I realized, even though that was my ancestral home, perhaps my home where I knew more people and friends and support was in northwest England at that time. How about you, Larissa? How's your connection?
As for me, yes, it is different. When I was in my 5 years old, I felt homesick. Now I try to visit my parental house, and it's for me this is to change the room and to refresh myself and to open the doors to my previous years and to my childhood.
And how do you feel when you go back to your childhood home? Do you feel like that?
I remember that I was very small, but all trees was very high level. But now I think that I'm adult, but the trees are the same.
But do they seem smaller now, the trees?
Some of them became smaller than
Yes.
it was in my childhood.
Right. I think that can often happen when we're young. The world seems so big.
Yes,
Natasha?
when I remember myself in my child, do you hear me, Chris?
Yes.
Yes. Please try again.
Yeah, just about myself in my childhood, I remember only positive things. That I have bright childhood and just only bright moments. And it's really true that I didn't have negative effect from people who were around me, and or maybe mom just created this atmosphere. So just I have never heard any bad words, I have never been punished, and so there was really a happy life, and that's why maybe just that our childhood is, and that's really one point just of our memory. So that's why we like to remember when we were young, when we were children.
Yes. Right. It's so precious. Time. Okay. Let me move on because we're coming to the final part here. This one, what does it mean to be homeless? Let's talk a little bit about homelessness. Is it just not having a house? Because we've talked about saying a house and a home are different. So what does it mean to be homeless?
Yes, for me, this is the situation when you have no your own place for living. So you spend your time with your friends or with your colleagues, or you have problems in your life, some kind of divorce problems, and you try to find another place for living. But as we speak about homelessness, sometimes this is a lifestyle for special category of our society. So as 15 years ago, I worked as a doctor on duty in a hospital, and one part of our society visited this hospital every day. So as sometimes they had no job, they had no work, they had no money, only alcohol, and they no home. And it's a very difficult life for them. First of all, it's a very difficult relationship between doctors and people, homeless people. And I think that it's two different sides of the coin. When we speak about homeless person in a special situation, and as we speak about homelessness as a lifestyle. So this is my point of view.
Yes, great, thanks. And when you say that it's a lifestyle, do you think most homeless people choose to be that way? Is it a choice, or is it something that they've just, often people find themselves in this situation? Can they get out of this? Is it that they don't want to get out of it? I know it's a difficult question. What do you think?
Dave, thank you very much for this question. Sometimes it's a very dangerous situation who leads to this result. But one day, one person can accept himself in this situation and to accept the rules of the game. In other side of the coin, that you accept the situation and you do all your best to come back to your normal life. But sometimes homeless people, they accept the situation and they live in their society. There are a lot of friends in these positions too, and it's they live without problems. They don't know in money, they don't know in a job, they have only alcohol and so on.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry.
No,
Yes, I agree.
don't
This is
apologize.
well. Yeah,
Okay. So is
I
it a
agree
more of a
that
mental
it's
thing
silent.
as much as a mindset as physical circumstances?
Yes, mindset. You don't want to work. You don't want to be in this society. So that was your and just think we just try to analyze the feelings of these people from our side, just from our it's from our perspective. But they think maybe just in this community they are happy and they don't need to home and just job and so on. And they have friends. They're happy. They have freedom. They are just really independent, kind of just more independent than we are. It's really difficult question. So
Yeah.
This maybe are more these nomads or nomades that you mentioned.
Yes, the nomads, and how are homeless people different from other types of nomads?
When this is their choice, their own choice, but I think a lot of people just slither into this situation, and there are managers or really people who were very vital and standing with both feet in their life, and then anything happened, a divorce or a loss of money or loss of job, and special circumstances where you slide into this situation from one to another point and can't cope with it anymore. Or
Yes, right. Some people might find it very difficult to get out. I think it's not, society is not always as easy as just snap your fingers and today I'm going to get back into society. Maybe there's a scale that some people are quite happy doing what they're doing, or they feel it's impossible, or they don't want to.
yes, and this chain, if you lose your house or your home or your apartment, and you have to find a new job, and then you have to say I don't have an
Asking your
apartment at
address.
the moment, or the other way around. When you don't have a job at the moment and need a new apartment, and here
Right.
in this big city, you have to really fill a form and to prove that your account is full of money and so on. And if something lacks of this chain, it's sometimes difficult to overcome this gap.
Yes, right. I think it can take a huge amount of energy to overcome that gap that you mentioned. How about you, Pipe? What are your thoughts on this?
About the homeless, for me, I think yes, some people is should to be homeless people. I heard about in Thailand we have a problem in the family. Some children would want to, you know, the some children is a warranty. We have many
They're
many
orphans.
fight with father and mother, or the mother and father have addict drug. They should to uh, out
To run
of
away from home.
yes to run away, and after that there is a homeless in Thailand. I think we have many problem about this. Yes, I think But for some people, it's yes, I think it's from the personal problem. They have a drug addict and they have a gambit addict about it, and after that they cannot manage money to live. Yes, I think it's a problem in Thailand, but I think we have a temple. Temple is you them the church. You can live when you don't have money.
Often
You
a
can live.
shelter, isn't it? An unofficial
Yeah,
shelter for
yeah,
homeless people.
yes, right. In Thailand, you can live in the temple so long time.
Yeah, it actually serves as a kind of a backdrop or a net to catch people. Okay, well, I think maybe we can end on a slightly more positive note, and I'm going to ask you, what are your favorite story or quote or song or poem about home? Can I ask you to be relatively brief, please? Do you have any ideas about this one?
My songs all Russian songs, but now I know that home, this is my safe haven, and I have to take care about this safe haven, and I want that all people surrounding me will be happy, and I will do all my best for that.
Thank you, Marissa. Anybody else?
For me, there's one musician, songwriter, and piano player who wrote a song in the 80s. It's called Wieder daheim, so home again, and he's from Munich and is singing in this local dialect, but not too traditional. He's also sings against racism and so on. And his name is Konstantin Wecker, like the alarm clock. And yeah, he this song is full of life and energy, and he sings that it's, on the one hand, it's nice to go to the south, to the blossoms of almond trees, but that doesn't weigh up the feeling when you get home and soak up the feeling of the city. And yeah, this is
Nice.
my
Konstantin Wecker. Okay. Wecker. Did that one. Great. Thank you. Pipe, do you have any favorite?
Yes, I think I have a many Thai song about the home. Just when I see the when I heard about the song about the home, that for when you try, you should come back to home in the big city. When you live in the big city, when you try, you can live to come back to home. But in the music video, his home is not a home. It's a family. When you come back and they hug you, when you fail in the big city, you can back to home. You can back to your family. Yeah, for me.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think we can finish there. I wish I had the music to finish, like Country Roads, Take Me Home, or something. There are so many songs going around in my head, but thank you guys for an interesting discussion. It's been great. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all soon.
thank you
Thank you.
too.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye
Cheers,
bye.
guys. And if anybody's watching and they want to leave a comment, please ask and I'll get back to you then. Okay, that's all for now. Take care. Bye-bye.